With October just around the corner, Dragon Ball Daima is finally beginning to gear up for its highly anticipated premiere. But ever since the inception of this series in the mind of the public, it has remained a hotly debated and controversial topic for a variety of reasons. While many are thrilled for a new Dragon Ball anime to be airing for the first time since 2018, some aren't as keen on this latest project in the Dragon Ball franchise. Upon its announcement in late 2023, the reception was instantly mixed, as even the very first trailer that unveiled info regarding the series was met with some distaste as to the direction the series is taking. But are these complaints and criticisms regarding the upcoming series warranted? Or are they gripes that fall flat of logic and reasoning when held under scrutiny? From the lack of Dragon Ball Super, the GT comparisons, and the lack of promotions from those behind the anime's production, Dragon Ball Daima has already led us on a roller coaster of emotions and news even months before the first episode's premiere. My name is Champazard, and in this video I'll be exploring and breaking down the different aspects of this controversy surrounding Dragon Ball Daima, and if they even make sense at all. Before we get into the video, I'd like to announce that I'm doing a giveaway of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. To enter win this giveaway, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you're most looking forward to about Dragon Ball Daima and Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's well known at this point that fans of Dragon Ball have eagerly been waiting for the franchise to return with an anime to put on air ever since Dragon Ball Super ended in 2018. What they had been expecting had been the form of a continuation of the Dragon Ball Super anime, picking up where the anime ended and adapting some of the manga's events that have transpired since 2018. Dragon Ball Daima in connection to this was very unexpected to many. When people expected the return of a Dragon Ball anime, it was only natural to assume it would be Dragon Ball Super, as the manga content was right there to be adapted. Dragon Ball Daima was a complete surprise for a plethora of reasons, mainly because it wasn't Dragon Ball Super, but also due to the nature of its presentation with the decisions regarding the direction of the series that became clear in the trailer, which I'll touch on in a later subject. The response upon Daima's announcement has been very mixed. This is because of the Dragon Ball Super issue that fans have been awaiting for so many years, begrudgingly so because at times it seemed like the anime may never return due to how many years have passed with no information regarding it ever being released beyond potential leaks and speculation. Dragon Ball Super was a very loved anime. As a watcher from beginning to end myself from 2015 to 2018, Dragon Ball Super provided the opportunity for the online community to come together and experience Dragon Ball together for truly the first time. The series also ended on a high note with the conclusion of the Tournament of Power that left fans excited for more. When news came out that it would be concluding with episode 131, it came as a shock to say the least. The anime had been on such a roll by showing improvement, especially on the production side, and with the popularity and success of the franchise, also financially, getting rid of the anime, perhaps the franchise's biggest selling point that produced new content for things such as games, merchandise, and so on, was very surprising. But beyond being shocking, it left many fans very disappointed as it left a Dragon Ball void that the occasional movie and monthly manga chapter couldn't fill. Making weekly theories, watching new episodes, and discussing and enjoying the series consistently was a very joyful experience. Then it was just suddenly gone with very little warning. Weekly anime provides more content much more frequently than a manga. That's why a monthly manga like Dragon Ball Super couldn't satiate all the desires everyone had for new Dragon Ball content. In addition, manga is a medium that is just far less popular than anime. Many more people watch Dragon Ball Super anime than those that read the manga. Naturally, the series ending may have drove more people to the manga to fill their Dragon Ball cravings and to stay up to date with the new stories being told by the franchise, but it just isn't the same to many. There were also leaks and rumblings going on in 2019 that the anime was supposed to return, but it never did, leading to more disappointment. The Dragon Ball Super Broly movie in 2018 and superhero movie in 2022, while very enjoyable, still leave years of no animated Dragon Ball content. With each passing year, the desire to see the new manga content animated only grew, but so did the impatience of the fandom due to the vast amount of time that had passed since Dragon Ball Super's end. It's now been over 6 years, with no word of when the anime could return. I still highly expect it to return eventually, and that it's just a matter of when, not if. But when so many people have been awaiting the anime's return, only to be met with a newly animated show that was a complete curveball, it's natural for some people to be disappointed. It's also fair to be disappointed, but this is where the controversy arises. People use the excuse that Daima isn't Super as their sole excuse for saying they won't watch the series. I've seen many arguments and statements of people saying that they will never watch Daima and care nothing about it just for the sole fact that it's not Dragon Ball Super, and naturally that sparked ongoing issues about people siding with this perspective or being completely against it, with those being against it considering it an invalid and nonsensical reason to not watch the series. I'm inclined to agree with the latter, as I'm personally excited for the series. Not watching Daima just because it isn't Dragon Ball Super is doing yourself a disservice in my opinion. What makes this perspective more convoluted is that people will assume that stance without hardly any info regarding Daima, basing it all off basic assumptions from a 60-second trailer with little to no plot info provided directly. Dragon Ball Daima could be bad narratively, but it also could be the greatest thing Dragon Ball has produced in its modern age. We won't know that until we've had the opportunity to watch it and make the decision for ourselves. Dragon Ball Daima is still Dragon Ball at the end of the day, a brand new animated Dragon Ball adventure to enjoy week to week to be enjoyed that could simulate the Dragon Ball Super experience. Many people that watch Dragon Ball Super weekly were probably exposed to the franchise as a kid in their native country, but often that exposure to Dragon Ball Z was many years after the series concluded in Japan, meaning that for so many people, Dragon Ball Super was their first time experiencing Dragon Ball content as it aired for the very first time, not through exposure so many years later. When I saw the Dragon Ball Super anime announcement, I was excited to be able to watch a weekly Dragon Ball anime for the first time in my life. There are valid reasons to be disappointed that the DBS anime isn't returning yet, but casting Daima aside as not worth watching could be a disservice to yourself. It's a story straight from the pen of Akira Toriyama, a story he was seemingly very invested in. Now, with his passing, it could potentially be the last work of Dragon Ball he had this much direct involvement in. That alone makes me even more excited to watch it, as we don't know what other works Toriyama did or did not leave behind. Regardless, the narrative of many abstaining from watching Dragon Ball Daima due to it not being super, something that has remained stated by many that I still see on the daily online, but others have found different reasoning from being hesitant to actually watch Daima. Dragon Ball GT is perhaps the most controversial and hotly debated of the many Dragon Ball animes. There are many who love it more than others, but it has no shortage of its detractors. It's the kind of series that from my perspective has plenty of things to hate and love that leaves you with a bittersweet feeling of the series. But one thing Dragon Ball GT is known for is that at the literal beginning of the series, it turned Goku into a child, which remains a criticism for the series by many. The moment the leaks came out and the first trailer aired about the main cast being turned into their childlike states, the GT parallels were instantly beginning to be drawn by many. The act of de-aging your adult cast into children is a controversial one regardless, but due to GT having done it, many people started labeling it GT 2.0 and weren't a fan at all of the decision. Due to GT's negative reputation and it being disliked by so many, the thought of rehashing some of the very content that contributed to it being viewed so negatively instantly gave many people the impression that Daima was setting itself up for failure. Goku being made a kid again seems very much akin to what transpired to GT, and is an obvious throwback and inspired by it, right? While it may seem like this at surface level, I don't think it's quite a copy and paste, but more of perhaps Toriyama taking inspiration from GT, if he even thought about it to begin with, knowing his very limited involvement with the series. If everything Toriyama potentially took inspiration from became instantly bad, we wouldn't have what many consider to be the highlights of modern Dragon Ball. Toriyama took concepts from the past, some bad, and put his own original spin on them, and they ultimately came out superior in the opinion of some. Broly is a good instance of this. While many people love Z Broly, there are those who would argue that Super's iteration and take on Broly as a character is far more enticing. From a crying baby in Brute to a more complicated character in Super with a more engaging movie he debuted in. The same applies to the superhero movie, where inspiration was naturally taken from the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan vs. Cell fight. While it doesn't truly hold a candle to the original, many love that scene due to Gohan's ascension to new realms of power. Other sources of inspiration taken from the manga for Dragon Ball Super include reintroducing Frieza, future Trunks, and even more I may not be mentioning. Many have assumed that making Goku a kid again is a direct copy and paste from GT. One of the most unpopular decisions that has received the most backlash that contributed to GT's negative reception is the handling of Goku being a kid again. But drawing inspiration and being a copy and paste are very different things. So while Toriyama and the ones behind producing Daima's story may have taken inspiration from GT, it doesn't directly indicate it'll be a copy and paste and be handled in the lackluster way this particular plot element was handled back then. This could end up proving to be a huge upgrade compared to the original that could change the tune of the naysayers. Of course, this isn't something we'll know until we've had the opportunity to watch the series for ourselves and begin to craft our own personal opinions on turning the cast into children was a bad writing decision that ultimately hindered the quality of the series. I think it makes sense why this decision has ended up being controversial to so many, and why it may instantly turn some skeptical about the series. But I don't believe it's enough to warrant writing it off completely. But the main controversy around this topic is that they have labeled the series GT 2.0 and have assumed it will follow in that series' footsteps without them having seen a single episode. But with Daima still yet to release, we'll just have to wait and see. The last topic of controversy I wish to cover pertains not to something that directly correlates with the setting and premise of Dragon Ball Daima, but instead of its promotion, handling, and its presentation to the public eye since we first learned about the series in 2023. There had been rumors of a new upcoming Dragon Ball anime that wasn't Dragon Ball Super going back to 2022, as several prominent figures in the Dragon Ball community began to allude to it. At this point, a series being in production was all that was known. This changed in 2023 as leaks came out regarding the overall plot before any official announcement was made regarding the series. Some of these leaks including the series being named Dragon Ball Magic, which was later changed, and Goku and Supreme Kai becoming children, which the leaks got correct. The initial trailer dropped on October 12, 2023. For the following months, we received little to no official updates regarding the series. Scarcely little regarding the plot or new characters had been revealed. That information was primarily known through leaks. Finally, in July, a new trailer would air, providing us with new information and character designs that we had been lacking. The main complaint that had been running rampant regarding the handling of Daima was its egregious lack of promotion. Many spoke up about how they felt Toei and other companies involved in the production process were doing incredibly little to promote the series. We went incredibly long times without information of new footage. Often, regular updates are provided to promote and hype up an upcoming series, but Daima went months on end with nothing new being revealed. Toei has endured criticism going back years to how they even promoted Dragon Ball Super Superhero. In comparison to Dragon Ball Super Broly, these complaints have merit. If you were around for the promotions leading up to Broly's release in 2018, we routinely got new trailers, new information, new art, and character reveals. Shortly before the movie's release, a Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta trailer was released, spoiling the movie and was plastered on the YouTube homepage to promote the movie. But Daima is falling gravely short of that mark as we continue to receive more plot details from leakers than from official reveals, which is a problem. We are around 3 or less months away from Daima's release at the time of recording this video, as the series is set to debut in October. It took until 3 short months before the series releases before things were pushed into gear regarding the series promotion. But in the eyes of many, this has been way too little, and Daima should have had promotion throughout the year, not months without any new art, trailers, or reveals, which I'm inclined to agree with. It seemed that month after month would pass with fans questioning when we even get an official release date, as for a while all we knew was the fall of 2024. Hopefully, with just a few months left until the series' awaited premiere, we can finally be provided with relevant new information to excite us for the series to tide us over until October finally arrives. As this little promotion regarding the series continues, the controversy and criticism towards it will only continue to grow. For so many years, people were expecting Dragon Ball Super to be announced to return as an anime, and there's good reason for this, as the whole Moro arc and Granola arcs had concluded. People were clamoring to see the likes of UI Goku vs Moro, Ultra Ego, Moro, Goku and Vegeta vs Gas, and so many other things like Black Frieza to finally be adapted into an anime format. As there's so many fun and cool things to Dragon Ball Super manga that has yet to be animated, and people just can't wait for that to happen. So when Daima was announced to be the anime that was in production, and we would still have to wait longer for a new Dragon Ball Super anime, people were frustrated. I personally wasn't one of them. I do want Dragon Ball Super to return one day and adapt the manga, but I was just very excited to get a whole brand new series that we know nothing about. When Dragon Ball Super anime comes back, we know what will happen as they'll be adapting the source material, but with Daima, we will not know nothing that's happening, as we'll see new information and new episodes and new things happening week by week. With each new episode, we'll be going in blind, and that thought excites me. But with the like of the Dragon Ball Super anime returning, the GT 2.0 comparisons, Dragon Ball Daima has been a very controversial series to say the least. If the series ends up being good or controversial, that will only continue. As I said previously, we won't know that until we see the series for ourselves. But let me know what you think in the comments. Are you excited for Dragon Ball Daima? Or are you looking forward to it due to it not being Dragon Ball Super or some of the other story comparisons that you may not be interested in? Let me know down below. Don't forget about the Sparkling Zero giveaway I'm doing and how to enter it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you next time.